Rockstar. Once a fledgling company with a funny little homicide simulator that had middle American moms clutching their pearls while Clinton was in the Oval Office giving his secretary pearl necklaces. Fast forward to modern day and Rockstar is a household name, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is slated to gross several small countries' GDPs. It's hard to picture such critical and fiscal acclaim from this little top-down sim game, but they were given a chance, and good for them. But as I watch this monolithic 6 materialize over the city, in retrospect, I can't help but lament the death of one of Rockstar's contemporary siblings, Pandemic. Does that ring any bells? Genuine question. Because these guys did Battlefront. Destroy all humans. Mercenaries. I don't know if any of these other ones are real bangers, but I'm gonna give Saboteur a try sometime. Anyway, Battlefront 2. This company has proven its salt. They made their own engine, their own IPs, and then EA absorbed them.
So I guess I'll kill one of you, him.
Along with acquiring BioWare at the same time from the same holding company, actually.
Well, we're boned.
Mercenaries 2, World in Flames, is the continuation of the gang's misadventures after leveling the Korean DMZ, this time in the balmy tropics of Venezuela. You can choose between 3 mercs, and I always pick the Swede because he's got the best quips. Whomever you choose will be sent to secure a VZ officer for President Solano, then get double-crossed and shot in the ass. Now, it's personal. In a completely level-headed and rational response, they storm the president's fucking house and make it their base of operations. This is courier levels of unhinged main character syndrome. From the villa, your receptionist will hook you up with new contacts, jobs, and friendly wagers for you to shake the coins out of their pockets. So you see, all of your compatriots offer mini-games to gamble on and earn a little bit of scratch and unique rewards. This is all fun and good, until you realize that half the side content in this game is this type of challenge. Aside from Fiona, the smarmy Brit, steal her shit.
That's mine, not yours. Remember the difference.
We have Ewan, the chopper pilot. He reminds me of Mac from Always Sunny. Claims he's a real lady killer, but look at this decor. Ewan's meeting up with Juan later. There's knockoff Megan Fox, who looks like she's a primary black market supplier of Diddy's baby oil barrels. I like her well enough. And there's Misha.
Misha's the jet pilot?
I am the jet pilot.
He is the alcoholic Russian pilot that flunked out of the VZ Air Force. You might be wondering why I just described him as an alcoholic 3 times, but it's because he's going to exhibit this in every interaction you have with him.
Jet? You would not fly it sober.
I love him. With the help of on-demand ordnance and close air support, you're free to level the country at the bidding of whoever you decide to align with. Although I'm pretty sure you have to run through pretty much every faction anyway. Factions are interesting in this game. You can single-handedly establish them as a major player in the conflict, then catch a single grunt with the blast of a Moab, and all of a sudden you're the bad guy. Inversely, you can lay waste to their entire command structure and destroy billions of dollars in an instant, then bribe them off with a few paltry million, and they're back to loving you like family. God, I love third world economies. Factions are where you spend your hard-earned cash and oil, and whenever you need something or someone, one of these guys will be your ticket, after you help them out.
A lot of that going around.
The VZ are quintessential bad guys and can basically be ignored, but everyone else in Venezuela is quite unique. Universal Petroleum is acting as its own private army, complete with military objectives and high-value targets. The Blackwater mercs that work for them will gladly talk shit about their boss.
Petroleum can kiss my ass. I don't care about the oil, just the paycheck.
Based. The guerrilla fighters are staunch communists. They preach the gospel of Marx and Che while their asses all ride American. You just can't top that kind of irony. The pirates are tech-savvy Jamaicans that seem to just be here for a good time, and I vibe with this. I also love the distinct style of each faction vehicle. From the pirates' brash colors to the guerrillas' military vehicles scrawled with insurgency slang and covered in random scrap. I like turning them to scrap too. In retrospect, I almost feel bad for the Venezuelan government. Universal Petroleum has taken over a city to protect its oil. Pirates of the Caribbean are running amok, harassing anyone on the waterways. Some of your people got red brain rot and are out in the jungles eating bark and flicking dingleberries at anyone with a uniform. And now there's a psychotic demigod of war helping all of them out for no other reason than to screw you over while making money by the body bag. Not to mention, it seems like you can gun down civilians in cold blood and a cool 5K keeps your name under the news. God, I love third world economies. But where Mercenaries 2 really shines is the open world chaos. Whether you're recreating Apocalypse Now or bringing down the bourgeoisie, Mercenaries has a wide repertoire of Cold War stock and trial-run guns, and enough air-to-ground and rocket-propelled munitions lying around in the jungle to realistically level the entire map. You're a mercenary, no allegiance, no attachment. When your AR-15 runs dry, pick up a trusty Kalash. Then steal an AMX-30, bailing out, grappling into a crocodile, blowing up a building or two before the SAM sites smite you, and repeat. The chaos of using anything you can get your grubby paws on to cause carnage is the vehicle you drive. But what is the road that Mercenaries has you travel?
Caracas has become a military installation.
These people have suffered poverty and injustice through administration efforts. They're not opposed to Solano, they're opposed to anyone. It's not martial law, it's a curfew.
Along with 12 other countries, the U.S. government formed an allied coalition of aggression.
Of course China's opposed to us doing anything there. They want Venezuela's oil.
GSR analysts agree that this situation cannot hold. War starts to fade.
Mercenaries 2 is the mental image I get when I think of T for Teen. The story, characters, and a lot of its execution feels just a bit juvenile. I don't mean that entirely as an insult. Mercenaries just drips with snarky teenage angst. From the moment the Allies are introduced to Venezuela, Mercenaries take shots at the obvious materialistic goals of UN peacekeeping operations, and the UN forces are exclusively Cali bros wielding America's bottomless defense budget. Just as well, the Chinese remind me of their equivalent faction in Command and Conquer, with an emphasis on armor and naming conventions that border poetry. Speaking of poetry, I actually learned a neat fact about the Chinese military. While Western armies tend to rely on doctrine and command structure, China's army uses slogans and rhetoric for teaching. As I understand it, the waging of war is taught and operated through a rather romantic language, which Mercenaries seems to recognize and exemplify. I think the best exhibit of this claim is The Art of War. Have you ever thought about how prolific a book about 5th century Eastern warfare is in the modern world? It only now occurred to me that it might just be good literature. Speaking of war poetry, let me speak poetic about war real quick. I tend to take shit way too deep, all the time. I can contrive a narrative out of atoms of evidence, which is exactly what I'll do. Stick with me here. What gets me thinking about Mercenaries 2, World in Flames, and Money We Trust is modern South American politics. But secondly, that in its angsty teenager way, the Mercs lampoon the bloody business of foreign intervention pretty well.
Anything else I can always different from us.
War is a Racket. A 1935 speech created by Major General Smedley Butler, one of the most based men in modern American history. Quick rap sheet. 34-year career in the Marines, 5 theaters of war, 2 medals of honor, hated commies and ANCAPs with equal fervor, advocated for racial equality in the 1930s when it was a controversy and a marketing tactic, and died railing against the military-industrial complex and its consequences. Oh, right, sorry, and he also stopped a group of incredibly wealthy industrialists from attempting a coup on the American government. Smedley described himself as a British lapdog for the American entrepreneurial elite in Asia, Europe, and South America, making unstable regions comfortable for Western bankers and American oil interests. In other words,
war is where the young and stupid are tricked by the old and bitter into killing each other.
while Nico Bellic unravels his past to the player as a conscript, working for corrupt officials and local thugs to survive, while he works for corrupt officials and local thugs to survive.
And guess what? So are you.
Hooray!
Matthias and the gang do contract work for slightly more credible entities for much bigger payouts. But the message is the same. War is a racket. Nico was broken by it, the mercenaries relish it, and Smedley Butler, somehow being more of a main character than the protagonist of video games, was a harbinger of it, then saw it for what it was, and swore a warrior's oath to destroy it. In Grand Theft Auto 4, war is a life-altering traumatic event that scars Nico, as far as we know, forever. Rockstar, being the awkward, sardonic glass clown, stepped up and asked to be taken seriously, and presented us with a multidimensional, deeply troubled man and a story that stands as a testimony to video games being a form of art. Mercenaries, in contrast, is a buggy and somewhat repetitive shitpost of a game chock full of sarcasm and cheap comedic beats, which, in my humble opinion, sounds a lot like the pre-HD GTA games.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
So I didn't 100% this game for my health, despite its shortcomings. Mercenaries is a serviceable and entertaining game. The same 80s turn-your-brain-off action that this game was a swan song for to begin with. But I just keep wondering, what does Mercenaries look like if it's straightened up and has itself to be taken seriously? The Soldier of Fortune was a very real thing. Veterans humping it in Africa or South America long after their home country discharged them. There's a plethora of modern theaters of war that could tell very unique iterations of the same concept. What's got Grand Theft Auto and Mercenaries and Smedley all tied up in my brain is the same recurring theme: war is a racket, no matter how large or small you dilate the scale of the conflict. I don't need the horrors of war on full display.
And you see 50 children, all sitting neatly in a row against the church wall, each with their throats cut and their hands chopped off. You realize that the creature that could do this doesn't have a soul.
But I would love to see one of the world's many proxy wars used as a backdrop for a merc to navigate the honestly deeply troubling political and financial landscape of civil and regional wars backed by foreign interests. Steeped in controversy from the beginning, the Mercenaries franchise was probably doomed to fail. Receiving generally mediocre public reviews as just another GTA clone, and Pandemic's penchant for pissing off countries by not even bothering to change the name of the place that was getting ravaged by war, EA might have just been a catalyst. But I'm going to blame Pandemic's fall on EA anyway, because in a multiverse where a company like Nestle can exist, EA is still voted as the most evil corporation in America. Pandemic got snagged by EA exactly 1 year before the release of Mercenaries 2. Gee, I wonder, do you think the new suits might have started pushing for an early release date, game state be damned, because our investors are already breathing down our necks for a return? Surely financial motives didn't overtake artistic integrity, thus resulting in major content cuts and a lack of polish that makes the game feel like a promising but ultimately hollow and disappointing experience. As if to capitalize my point, the very ending of my romp through war-torn Venezuela, taking down the big bad himself, is riddled with bugs. God bless you, Mercenaries. You tried. Pandemic suffered the same fate as many of the AA developing companies in the early aughts, likely shuttering because EA just didn't see the cash in it. That's what happens when you rely on a merc, I suppose. Not like it was Pandemic's fault or choice, but I feel it raises the question about our get-rich-or-die trying culture. We're all a little bit of a merc, aren't we? We're all compelled by society to acquire the gluten, and that is much the same all the way to the top. But I feel like there's a catastrophic universal problem in current era business. I call it reductivism grindset. It's never about the business itself anymore, improving the craft, innovating in exciting ways, or just maintaining fucking brand integrity. It's about what they can hack away, what corners they can cut, who they can shit-can, because their shareholders will probably order a hit on them if they don't see a 10% increase in quarterly returns. It's psychotic, and it obviously only damages the relations of the seller and the consumer, and, you know, the very foundations of civilization. But hey, do what you gotta do to earn a quick buck, I guess. But that's my big takeaway from Mercenaries. Everyone's just trying to get paid. And everybody who's got the money has some fucked up ideology that they want to snare you in so that they can pay you less, and... so fuck them. Don't buy the bullshit. Whatever you're doing in life, do it for yourself. And do damn good work. Because you're doing it for you. If you dig my stuff, please consider liking, subscribing, and telling me what you thought down in the comments. And most importantly, share amongst those that you think might also be interested in this kind of content, because I would love to get that sweet, sweet ad revenue. And finally, you can check out my Patreon, where I can offer you nothing but my humblest gratitude and a little gift to commemorate your charity.
Oh no, you didn't. Such humiliation will bring annihilation at last. Oh no, you didn't. It will be delicious when I get vicious tomorrow. Oh no, you didn't. There's no second chances. No. You will do the dance of sorrow. Oh no, you didn't. 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 Didn't you? Oh no, you didn't pay me what you owe me. So now it's over for you. Watch your back, boy, keep running. This ain't just a game, I'll never stop coming. I got my arsenal, I put out the call. And when I'm finished, y'all. You'll be a bad dog. You try to diss me, now you're gonna wish you were dead. Oh no, you didn't. After I deliver, your blood will be a river of red. Oh no, you didn't. Better beware when no one's there to defend you. Oh no, you didn't. So many ways to kill, it's gonna be a thrill to end you. Oh no, you didn't. 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 Didn't you? Oh no, you didn't pay me what you owe me. So now
Here's your money. Little good may it look. Until we meet again. You want me to pay? Isn't that it? You want me to pay?
Yeah.